Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Blue Dragon 5 here.
And Jacob Weil.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we find ourselves in the midst of Disney's big venture into the world of streaming, having started war in the process, we thought it'd be nice to stay up to date on the ever growing catalog and rule on what's a must or a bust on Disney Plus.
And tonight we bring to you The Mandalorian, Chapter 21, The Pirate.
All right.
Dragon, I just have one question for you, and I'd like you to answer it as best as you can.
Okay.
Where is Hondo?
If only. Well, he's probably in Ahsoka. I think that's where Hondo is, but we won't know forever. Apparently, thanks Filoni for the false hope with an episode called "The Pirate."
Well, I think we have more Favreau to blame for that one.
That's probably true. I forget if this one Filoni co-wrote 2 episodes. I forget if this is the. I think 7 was the next Filoni episode. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I just finished watching it. This one was solely written by Favreau.
Okay, so I guess the other Filoni one's coming. It would have been more egregious if it was like a Filoni written one. Like, how dare you, Filoni, and you call it The Pirate?
All right, now that we've got our Hondo acknowledgement out of the way.
I mean, we were expecting to potentially see the Pirates again. Mind you, this is before we took all the left turns of the season. Like, yeah, we're never going to run into those Pirates again. No, then, okay. Then we ran into them again. We were hoping that, okay, if we're setting up Pirates, we got to use the pirate that's in all the Star Wars shows. Pretty much all the Star Wars shows.
Yep.
Onaka!
We didn't get a cameo from Hondo, but we did get another interesting cameo this episode.
So you gotta wonder how much of that's like an intentional bait and switch, right? You gotta wonder how much of that's like, okay, everyone's gonna think we're getting Hondo this episode, but we're gonna give him this character. When we do the Ahsoka show, we're not gonna give him that character. We're gonna give him Hondo.
Well, either way, I do hope we get Hondo. We can't be deprived of more Hondo.
We got to get Hondo in live action somehow, even if it's like they hijack the robot from Disney and just put him in the show.
It's like, yeah, we can't be deprived of Hondo. We need that fresh Hondo content.
I mean, he has to be in the other show because he's friends with the protagonist. Not the protagonist, like basically
he's acquainted with the protagonist.
Well, no, yes, Ezra's not the protagonist. It's I'm trying to think of what the term is. The MacGuffin. We have to go after. He knows the MacGuffin. We got to bring him in.
Fair enough. Yeah. So only time and Filoni will tell.
True. So overall, the Pirate. That was a good episode. Accomplishes a lot. Sadly, no Hondo. Still shedding a tear over that one, as you probably can tell. But yeah, I mean, this it's so funny that with Hondo again, it feels like we had the wrong Rebels character in this episode. I just love that when that moment happens. Like, well, there's a Rebels character, but not the one we were expecting.
I mean, don't get me wrong though. It is great to see Zeb again.
That's the thing. We get Zeb, folks, and not just Zeb. Zeb voiced by Steve Blum.
I guess it was nice to bring him back into the fray. It's like Zeb's still out there. That's good.
Yeah, for a moment I was like kind of doing a double take. Wait a minute, is it just the same speed? Is it him? And like, oh my god, that's Steve Blum. That's him.
That's Zeb.
This is what he's done after Rebels. Okay, which again, here's the thing, folks. Now I'm kicking myself because I was going to wait until before Ahsoka to finish watching Rebels, and then I'm going to have to go back to it sooner.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I have to finish Rebels too. I think the last episode I started was the Conquer Dawn episode. That or I got into season 3. I don't remember. All I know is that I don't remember. I'll just have to start over from the very beginning anyway.
All
right. But either way, it was nice to see Zeb again. Nice to see he's doing somewhat well for himself.
Yeah.
That makes me wonder what the fate of the rest of the Ghost crew fate is.
Yep. Well, I mean, we've hinted at it's Kanan, right? That's the Freddie Prinze Jr. Jedi.
Kanan Jarrus, yeah.
Yeah, Kanan Jarrus. We've hinted at him in The Rise of Skywalker. His voice was used, so I mean, it's not full on like seeing him, but I don't know. I assume they're going to get Freddie Prinze Jr. to play him.
Well, I mean, if he's like one of the vocal cameos in there, that at least implies he's one with the Force or something. So
yeah, but again, that's like 30 years from now. So
yeah.
I mean, well, that actually, wait a minute. That's the thing. That's the question. So did he? Yeah, Rebels is that. Yeah, he could have. He got killed at some point, but he could have. He definitely did not perish. We know for a fact he didn't perish in Order 66. So yeah, he could be around during this time. We don't know when he gets killed.
Yeah, I mean, I do remember seeing him in like an episode of The Bad Batch when Order 66 took place.
Yeah, that's the thing. We saw, we saw the young Kanan. We did not see full grown Freddie Prinze Jr. Kanan.
Well, it's also a bit later. Also a little bit later though.
Anyway, we're going to talk about the wrong show.
Yes, but like I said, that's Zeb for you.
Yeah. So how'd you feel about this one?
Like, I mean, I enjoyed this episode. I thought it was a lot of fun. I mean, like, of course, the pirates were again quite interesting to see, and of course, who did you know who did the voice of Gorian Shard?
As an actor, I'm not familiar with, so no, I didn't really.
Let me see.
So I know I checked the voice on him to see if I recognized him, but no, I didn't.
Gorian Shard. Actor. And Atomic Beast is saying, does Zeb have any piloting skills? He was, but at least in Rebels, he was more of an enforcer type.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I mean, I remember the episode where he and Ezra flew that TIE fighter, so I mean, he has flight experience, but he's more just kind of like, he's more soldier than he is pilot, but, it's, I don't know, I mean, he was involved during the dogfights and stuff, like, he was more of like a gunner during those scenes, regardless, so I don't know, I think he has pilot, yeah, probably has enough piloting experience, plus years, a lot of time passed, so, probably did stuff, Hera maybe gave him some lessons, who knows.
I mean, Hera was the main pilot of the Ghost.
Exactly. So she's the main pilot. So yeah.
And apparently, Gorian Shard is played by someone named Nonzo and Nozir.
Yeah.
So I don't recognize him, but I thought it sounded familiar, like something that I heard it somewhere. But apparently, I haven't. But either way, he does a pretty good job playing him as Gorian Shard.
I mean, I still love the fact that Gorian Shard just looks like he kind of resembles Swamp Thing. I mean, that's kind of like the thing I geek out about when I look at this guy. It's like, oh, that's a cool creature design, man.
Yeah, he kind of looks like Swamp Thing or Man Thing in like a bomber jacket.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, what if Swamp Thing were the captain of a pirate ship?
Like, get on it, DC.
Yeah. Swamp Thing sailing through the green.
I would read that, honestly.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, Gorian. I think it was interesting to see these guys again. Honestly, I was hoping for Hondo, as I mentioned up front. But like I said, it was nice to see Zeb, and like I said, this episode overall has some very interesting status quo changes going forward. Like some status quo shakeups and a little bit of a twist ending too.
Also, just for a change of pace here, as to the show, they weren't resting on their laurels this episode. We kept the baby to an absolute minimum this episode. Grogu was he was set decoration. That's all he was this episode.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really have him going around fighting pirates.
Well, at least we're not supposed to.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, throw that. Okay, pass. We want Vizsla. Pass the kid like a football, and just launch him on there, and he'll attack him like a little gremlin. It'll be awesome. Give him like a little vibrating knife. It'll be traumatizing.
Oh my god! I mean, last week they did the whole paintball contest.
Yeah,
but this is obviously different.
Yep.
So it's like I can only imagine how much fun he had while Mando was flying around in the I forget the name of this ship.
I think they call it the N1 for like the Naboo Fighter 1.
All right, it's just still not the Razor Crest though.
Nope, not sad. Oh god, now we got to take a moment of silence. So hold on. I missed that ship. Okay, we're good now.
Yeah, I miss it too.
It was so cozy.
R.I.P. Razor Crest.
Had like a little holding room, little holding area for Grogu and everything. It had a toilet.
Had a carbonite area.
Yeah, I mean that ship was awesome.
Yeah.
Now it's gone.
R.I.P. Razor Crest.
Oh, because of the stupid Empire.
Yes. All right, moment's over.
All right, yeah, moving on. So,
Yep.
okay, let's see. This episode primarily is focused. So again, our premise of this episode is Gorian Shard seeks revenge on Navarro. Because Mando killed all his guys, and then escaped his clutches, and they feel Grief Karga is not. In reforming Navarro, he's kind of taken away like kind of the cool kind of scum and villainy edge that the pirates flourished in. And he's kind of going back on a deal of sorts. So they go down there and they basically bomb the heck out of Navarro. And Grief Karga needs help because, as we established, he does not have a marshal yet. He's in trouble. We got to help our old buddy Grief Karga.
Yeah, but and Gorian Shard wants revenge on killing his men, even though it's like his men is the one that instigated the problem in the first place.
Yep, and this is what. Sadly, Mando learns the lesson of, you know what, we got to stop this whole messenger thing of like stopping like the one that you let live, so we could pass along the message. Just kill them all, then call the guy. That's what you should do next time. Just hail the ship. Just like, hey, listen, we killed all your men because they were causing a ruckus, causing a problem here, and you can do something about it. But I got a Mandalorian right here. He'll kill you. Guy who took that Moff Gideon has the dark saber, not to be messed with. So goodbye, Gorian.
Well, but there are several complications to that plan, though.
Yeah, no, you're right. There are.
So like after the initial attack and everything, and in the beginning of the pirates' occupation of Navarro, the Grief Karga does decide to ask for help, but not to Mando.
Well, mainly because he can't find Mando right now. He doesn't know where the heck he is.
Yeah. So instead, he calls for help for the New Republic.
Yes.
And it's not very effective.
Not without an attempt, though. So Carson Teva here. Carson's we've set this guy up. So this is a cool thing. This episode primarily is about the world building of the world building of the trouble of the New Republic. So we obviously set this up in a big way in episode 3 with the Dr. Pershing story. We kind of saw it from kind of the. It's interesting how we keep seeing the New Republic from different perspectives. We kind of circled around it with Grief Karga saying, those guys are a bunch of bureaucrats and they never get anything done. So he set that up, and we see it at play in this episode. We kind of saw it from a really interesting point of view with Dr. Pershing, from a guy who's kind of genuinely reformed. And
up until his re-education.
Oh, for sure, yeah. He might be a vegetable now.
Yes.
If he's lucky. So then, so that's the thing. So now we see it from a full-on good guy's point of view. We see it from Carson, who was like one of the the pilots, the ex-rebel pilots, the rebel pilots turned like New Republic kind of marshals, I guess.
Yeah.
And he's he gets the call from Grief Karga, and he's taking it to his bosses, trying to go through the system, saying, "Hey, listen, the folks in Navarro need our help." And that's when things get interesting.
The New Republic refuses to help.
But not just okay. So we had a cameo this episode. There's a fun cameo, casting wise. The wonderful Tim Meadows as Colonel Tuttle.
Yeah.
So of course Tim Meadows is a very funny comic actor. He's he's kind of he was on SNL, and he's just really darn funny. Like you see him in a whole bunch. Like he pops on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, the Goldbergs. He's like the Mr. Glass principal. He turns to the principal over time, like Glass Scott.
Tommy Beast lately, Andor and Rogue One, and now Bad Batch shows the rebellion is not comprised of heroes, but also extremists and rich snobs.
We're definitely showing off the rich snobbery throughout these shows. Yeah.
And there's man, I don't recognize Tim Meadows, but it is kind of interesting to see that the New Republic is actively refusing to help these people because they not with the New Republic.
I just want to say for the record, Tim Meadows, Jake, you gotta look up Tim Meadows. Tim Meadows is hysterical.
All right,
he plays, he's like an excellent straight man because he can play the lines really, really straight, but just with like just the right amount of comedy. Anyway, yeah, but he's that thing. So he's saying like, oh yeah, sure. So, well, let me see the thing. He kind of I get the urgency here, and then a familiar face, Kane, Elia Kane, the right hand of Moff Gideon, who betrayed poor Dr. Pershing episodes ago. I like how we're building this up that, oh, you're going to remember that lady who's been in the background all those episodes. She's back, and she's bad.
It's like, she might be responsive, might be a stealth architect of the First Order.
That's the thing. So the big question of this episode is we've been kind of building this up, but it does beg the question: will the Empire just return and basically have like kind of a second chance rebranding themselves as the First Order, or will the New Republic literally become the First Order?
You mean like become like a splinter cell almost?
I mean, possibly. And the irony could be that
you mean kind of, well, maybe a better example would be like kind of like how Hydra formed within Shield.
I mean, yeah, that's probably a good way of putting it. Yeah, I guess I was thinking more so just the New Republic. I think what we could be building to, if we go in that line of thought, is the New Republic splinters itself like the Mandalorian culture did, which we've seen in practice. So I think that could ultimately be the case. I mean, the thing that dissuades me from thinking, until you brought up that splintering off point, my initial thinking was it could be an offshoot of the New Republic. But then again, when we are in Force Awakens, I forget if we just call those planets a New Republic in that movie or not. Like if the New Republic's still around, but then again, if it's splintered, you could still have both in theory. So,
that's fair.
Regardless, all of this feels like you're right. She is kind of the architect behind Moff Gideon's. We don't know if Moff Gideon's like the big brain behind all of this, but he's very much contributing. They're all contributing towards a whole of like we're building the First Order here as the Empire's comeback, and basically we're using the weaknesses of the New Republic. Basically, it seems like we're turning the New Republic into the next Empire, at the very least, paving the way for the next Empire.
Oh yeah, it's like, and especially when he refused to help the Navarro. He's like, well, what a very imperial thing to say.
And again, I love that we're sort of calling out we're seeing what Grief Cargo is terrified about happen right now. It's like the bureaucracy is clouding them. They're overcorrecting. Like, no, we don't want to be like the Empire at all. So how are we going to do that? We're going to forcefully make sure no one does any imperial-esque things. Ergo, we have become the Empire.
Topic Beast has his own idea.
Okay, some members. Yeah, go on. Read it.
Oh, you can read it.
Or some members of the New Republic want to let the Imperial around to not only justify control, but also anticipate to have them gathered in one spot and kill them. Huh. A few typos in that, I think, but
it's all good. Yeah. An interesting theory, regardless, though.
No, for sure, yeah.
Like he's definitely. I mean, whatever it is, it's definitely hinting at the birth of the New Order, of the First Order.
I mean,
or at least something that'll lead to the First Order.
Carson did point out that he was happening upon a conspiracy that was happening with the pirates. The pirates were in conjunction with the Empire.
And he's like, yeah. Basically, he was all pointing out that it couldn't be a coincidence that, like, first they're being attacked by Gideon, now pirates.
Yeah.
So there's definitely something shady going on here.
For sure. But again, I love just the natural way in which, like, we see the breadcrumbs being laid over. Kane just makes an honest suggestion, putting on a nice face, and she just kind of steers it right in the direction of like a very spiteful thing of like, well, no, they're not. They haven't signed the treaty. They're not officially, because they want to do it on their own. They have to. It's a learning experience. They got to learn the hard lesson on their own, which, yes, is a very imperial thought. It's very, it's very shady. But again, Tim Meadows is kind of powerless to say no here. But yeah, he's definitely being blinded.
Yeah.
It's like, no, Tim, no. Tim Tuttle, no.
The bureaucracy.
Yep. So then Carson, he's going to his buddies. We see Trapper Wolf for a second. The Dave Filoni character. Dave Filoni's in the background this episode.
So we do get to see. So Filoni is involved in this.
Well, I mean, he's there. He's not really.
I didn't even notice Filoni.
You gotta imagine part of that's just Filoni. Like, wait, Zeb's gonna be in this episode. I want to be in this episode. Well, Dave, we don't really have like a scene between you and Zeb. I don't care. I just want to be in the room. But you know, it's CG. I don't care. I want to be in the room. Give me the outfit. I still have it in my closet. Let me put on the outfit.
I think just Dave Filoni just wears that all the time.
Every time he's on set, when he's going around, basically it's that, and he has a cowboy hat on. But when he does the scene, he takes the cowboy hat off and he puts on the helmet.
Like, Dave, you're not in the scene. I don't care. I'm supervising.
It's comfy.
Dave, you don't need to wear it. Like, I'm wearing it. It's like, can you? It's like,
Dave, are you sure? Why do you hate fun? Okay, just tell me why you hate fun.
like, yeah, guy. It's like, leave Dave alone.
We're going to war here, Star Wars, and to do Star Wars, you got to be dressed for the occasion.
It's like, yeah, guys, leave Dave alone. Let him wear the suit. I mean, he's basically in charge of a lot of the story elements of Lucasfilm in the first place. So let him do let him do that.
Wouldn't it just be really funny if just Dave Filoni is always in the scenes, but he's just hiding really well, except for that one role? What if he's just like he's in the droid sometimes?
I mean, maybe we'll see Chopper again.
I'm saying Chopper, he was in R5. You know, he's.
It's like, yep, that was me. It's like, what about you? Yep, I was in that scene too. But there's no one in the scene. Yep, see that speck over there? That's me.
I was in the Rancor costume. That was me. But it was CG. Doesn't matter. I was there. I was wearing the green suit. I was there.
Yep.
Wait, were you the Dark Trooper? Yeah, I was the Dark Trooper. But how? It was a green suit underneath. So you know. Anyway.
Dave, never change, Dave.
Anyway, so Zeb here. It's very cool seeing Zeb, and again, just the fact that we have the whole Ezra Hondo thing most likely coming in Ahsoka. We're building our Rebels characters in live action, which is a cool thing. And so far, looking at the Star Wars shows, we've been bringing a lot of the animated characters to screen.
Yeah.
In a big way, like each season has kind of had like a moment where we kind of bring these characters to life. I mean, with the first season, we had kind of the dark saber itself, and I guess, I mean, honestly, the first season mostly just kind of an item before it was anything else. I'm sure there's something I'm forgetting, but Fennec Shan we did not realize in animation until after Mando, so that doesn't really count.
Yeah, she's kind of more of like a reverse of that.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the thing. So I guess in total, really, the first season is more like a prop thing, like the Darksaber, a big element from Clone Wars, and then season 2 is when we get like there's Ahsoka, man, and there's Bo-Katan.
Yeah, but did we see Bo? Yeah, we didn't see Bo-Katan until the second season.
Yeah, until the second season, episode 3 of the second season, I believe.
Yeah, it's like that's really, and like not counting characters that were originally made in live action. Those are pretty much the only things that have been carried over. Like I said, you can't really count the clones unless the Bad Batch are brought into the live action, in which case then that'll count.
And we've gotten clones that were all played by Tamara Morrison, but not those specific clones.
No, we haven't gotten Bad Batch.
Yeah, we haven't gotten Rex or them yet.
Or Commander Cody.
True, we haven't gotten Commander Cody yet either.
I was there. The scene is empty. No one was in the scene. I'm a human being on this planet. The scene takes place on this planet. Technically, I was there.
Yeah, sure, Dave. Thanks.
He's like, Dave, what are you doing? Dave, you're not in this scene. I don't care.
You want to hear another dumb, like just kind of what if thing on the set?
What?
What if Jon Favreau, every time he went to set, he brought his lunch in the Camtono, like the thing that all the Beskar was kept in, like little the ice cream maker thing that's like the deep cut reference. He's like, what if he just kind of carried the thing as he kept his lunch in there?
It's like John.
Hey John, what's for lunch today? Well, let's find out. And he puts the thing down. He opens it up. And it's like, ooh, cookies.
And it even has like the little noise that Open has when you open it.
Exactly, every time.
It's like, oh god.
Anyone want a fruit roll up?
I do. Well, too bad. It's mine.
has my name on it. He opens it up and you see on like the little wrapper thing. It says for John.
Like, but that's your handwriting, John.
Doesn't mean it doesn't have my name on it.
Yep. All right.
Anyway, so getting back on point here.
Enough of this. You should probably move on from all this like fake behind the scenes stories.
All right.
No matter how fun it is.
The fact of the matter is Zeb's back, and that's cool. And maybe we'll see other characters. So,
Yes.
okay, let's see. Not that we need other characters, but it's always a treat when they show up.
I mean, beyond that, we technically did see the ghost. The ghost did make a brief cameo in Rise of Skywalker.
Right.
I mean, besides that, beyond that, I don't think anything else has been brought to live action.
Right. Okay, let's see. So we pay off some things this episode.
All right. Yep.
R4, for example, R4. This is kind of what I mean by payoff is like a concern that I think a lot of people have been having. Because Jake, I don't know if you're aware of this. Mando season 3 is not doing as great as the season 2.
Yeah.
In terms of like everyone getting buzzed about it and kind of talking about it and kind of loving it as much as season 2. It's not that saying it's bad or anything. Just say it's not quite getting the hype that the second season got.
Yeah, I've heard something along those lines too.
Now, there are a number of factors that can be in play there. Because one, it's like the sequel syndrome of like, hey, oh my god, we love the first season. We want everyone and their mother wants the second season. And then we got used to it. Then we got both. Then we got all these other Star Wars shows in between 2 and 3 that maybe kind of died down the hype. Is my speculation.
Most likely.
Yeah, like they weren't just going like 1, 2, 3. This is amazing. Keep it coming. Well, we're out after 3. Well, okay. What do you have now? Like, okay, we're gonna give you a Book of Boba Fett, Obi-Wan, and stuff. Anyway, so let's see. So R4. So their concern was like, wait a minute, and it's still not a full-on fix, but at least we explained why we needed R4. So initially, we thought we were going to do a whole scavenger hunt thing for IG-11. We instead get R4. You're kind of wondering what the point of that was, especially when Mando apparently can just go out of the ship himself and just like pressurize his helmet the whole time. Mando's being kind of lazy at first. Like, I don't want to walk the planet. I'm going to use a droid to do it.
Well, like I said, to be fair though, at that point he thought it was still poisonous.
Well, that's true, but still, it's the fact that he's like, well, it's going to be poisonous. I'm just going to pressurize my helmet. So he's still going out there. Okay. Anyway, so the fact of the matter is, we reveal we needed plot wise, we needed R4 because he worked during during Star Wars with basically during the original trilogy with Carson. That's the thing. He was I don't know if he was directly his droid or not, but the fact is, they worked together. They passed each other, so he was able to find track R4 because he's part of the rebellion. Yeah. So that's how he finds. Basically, there's no way Carson's going to be able to find Mando, especially in like a hidden, Mandalorian covert on a different planet than Navarro. So there's no way he's going to be able to find him unless R4 would be the beacon there. So,
but the Mandos don't exactly give him a warm welcome either way.
No, they don't, because they're very protective about the covert and everything. So. We see the customs of the Mandalorians here, which is really nice. I love like the whole thing after Carson, delivers the message and everything. They have like this little kind of meeting, and I love that during the meeting they have essentially like talking stick rules, and like whoever holds the talking stick can share. So they give them the Beskar hammer from the armor. Okay, anyone can speak. It's just whoever holds, you just got to do one at a time. Someone hold the hammer.
And of course, we have our Mando giving like the speech, and like Grief Karga's like he basically changed and is basically, and even offered him, mentions the whole tract of land, which is brought up again from the first episode.
I love that we're paying all that off. One, I love that we don't forget, like, oh yeah, there was a big shootout that did result in a couple Mandos dying and them all having to relocate from Navarro in the first season, so we didn't forget any of that. And the fact that he did offer him a bunch of land. Usually we brush that sort of thing off, like, you're welcome here anytime, friend. Like, wait, did you mean it? Yeah, I have a whole bunch of homeless Mandos. We're going to come here. Yeah.
But of course, the big thing comes from Paz Vizsla.
Now, of course, Paz Vizsla continues this season for me. Paz Vizsla is the big. My eyes are concentrated on this guy because he's the most. Again, there's a lot with this character lineage wise, and the fact that we built him up here and there in the first season, and majorly in that one episode we got from Book of Boba Fett with him. It's like, oh god, Paz Vizsla and Din Djarin. There's some tension there.
And of
But,
course, and of course, last week did a lot to change that.
Exactly, and we kind of I like the misdirect where we're kind of ratcheting up the tension of Vizsla's going to make some good points. It's going to dissuade him against helping, and then he says, "Wait, but you know what? They saved my son."
And but he's like, do you know why? He's like, so why should we do this? Like been leading us giving asking for a reason, but then he answers his own question saying, "Because we're Mandalorians."
Exactly. Okay, I still have another dumb kind of like behind the scenes thing.
Yeah.
So remember, in real life, Jon Favreau is the voice of Paz Vizsla because he played Pre Vizsla.
I wonder if it's like a Paz and post kind of thing, like pre Vizsla and like post Vizsla.
No, I think that's kind of the gag, Jacob. I think you actually hit it on the money there.
I don't know if that's a
prequel. I think that's the idea.
I hope so.
I think it's a retroactive gag because I don't think they were thinking of Paz Vizsla when they were doing Clone Wars, but I think now it's like, well, what do we call this guy? Okay, pre Vizsla, post Vizsla.
It's like, well, they're like pre Vizsla from the Clone Wars, and now Paz Vizsla.
Yeah.
But anyways, like as you were saying,
just given the fact that technically Jon Favreau was playing a major character in the show, but he again doesn't have to be on set at all for it. He just has to do the voice for the helmet. What if that's Dave Filoni's big like, well, you know what, John? I'm actually on the set in my costume. What about you, huh? You're not pumping iron to get David Prowse shaped for this giant Mando character. I mean, yeah, I'm actually in the suit. I don't even have to be in the suit right now to read the script. At the table read.
Because I wrote it. Because I wrote it.
Yeah, I wrote it.
All right. Atomic Beast says, I do wonder how Paz feels about pre-founding Death Watch and all his cruel actions.
I mean, that's the thing. It seems to me that he's the Death Watch of it all. Again, seems to have spun out of control. Or Death Watch essentially is the offshoot that Din Djarin and all the guys are coming from here. Only it's a little bit more watered down. It seems like they're just kind of overlooking the bad stuff in the Death Watch era. Like, yes, we split, but we went back to the old ways, and the old ways were right, and basically all that terrible stuff still happened. So Death Watch, maintained itself.
I feel like the children of the Watch left Death Watch for missing the point on what a Mandalorian means. Maybe having Maul as leader is what caused them to split.
That is a good point. Yes, so that's the stuff that we're likely going to get into next week or very soon on the show. Basically, the mending of the Mandalorian cultures. Because it's so fascinating where we go with that. Because again, the whole the Kreese family, the whole royal Kreese family thing, where we have the sister and we have Bo-Katan again, like splitting off to kind of like and doubting the leadership, and ultimately that gets her sister killed.
Now you made me sad again.
Yep, and Obi-Wan's just. Would you like to take a moment of silence?
Yes.
Okay.
Another moment of silence. All right, moment's over.
Of course, Obi-Wan's just going, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye there.
It's like
his last words to her as she's dying in his arms. Goodbye there.
The actual scene is a lot more tragic.
No, for sure. Yeah.
I mean, we're kind of taking away from the gravitas of that moment.
Yeah, I mean, when he says goodbye there, you get to finish the word. He says, "Good." Oh man, she's dead.
Like, when Obi-Wan said, like, if you would have said the word, I would have left the Jedi Order. I mean, that is a lot coming from Obi-Wan.
Yep, and then she's thinking to herself, "Oh no, I never." In her dying moments, I never told him what the word was. I've been saying it the whole time. You never knew.
Oh God. All right.
But no, seriously, it was a very great relationship. Which, yeah.
But of course, and of course that even informs a lot of what Bo-Katan does today.
For sure.
And like kind of what caused her disillusionment with with the whole Mandalorian thing.
Yeah.
So, but of course, Paz does make the points and unites the group, which is an awesome moment. To like this man helped save this Mandalorian. He saved my son, and she never gave up. And Bo-Katan here never gave up, even when I did.
Very nice.
Like it was like so. I was like, and he unites them under the cause. This is the way.
Yep, and they're about to retake Navarro. So it's so fun. We go full circle here. We return to Navarro. I mean, and it's possible. They haven't said it. I mean, officially, yeah, one way or another. But just given the way the Disney company's going right now, this could. I mean, I'm not. It sounds like they're going to do another season, but I got to be honest, man. It does feel there's some finality here at the very least for our Din Djarin related Mando stuff. So it feels we're returning to Navarro with all the Mandos. Since we introduced them doing their big like saving Din on Navarro thing in episode 3 of season 1. So it feels like going back to Navarro is a big deal here.
It definitely seems that way. I mean, well, then again, he might just leave it immediately, like he did with. I mean, it might be another plot that's resolved fairly quickly.
Well, I mean, it feels that way. Given they're going somewhere else, they're trying to go to they're trying to settle on a different planet. You have to wonder what's going to happen to that real estate.
Yep. I mean, I don't think I don't wonder if how home life would go for Grogu, for Mando and Grogu.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, the big sell is like all the Mando kids can play in daylight. Well, yeah, but they're still wearing helmets, So it's
but well, as of after the battle, not all of the Mandalorians are.
Well,
wearing helmets.
we'll get there. Just give it a second. We'll get there.
I know. I was foreshadowing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Grogu. I mean, I think I could imagine it being really cute. Just Grief Karga, like just kind of mentoring young Grogu could be kind of cute.
Aww.
It's like it's like he's like the friendly uncle who shows up. Like, there's my little buddy.
It's like do you guys think the remaining pirates should be kept in small cages and the monkey lizards laughing at them? Oh, God.
That'd be hilarious, but I doubt it.
It's like, yeah. But yeah, it's like Mando's obviously his dad.
Yeah, just imagine this, like, hey, you wanna spend the day with Uncle Grief?
Uncle Grief.
Uncle Grief while Bo-Katan and I go on a date or something? Like,
and it's like, yeah, Bo-Katan is obviously, if nothing romantic happens between them, she could be like the cool aunt.
That's what I'm saying. Could be cool aunt or something. It's the fact that Grogu's built up quite the family here. He's got a little, he's got the cool aunt and Bo-Katan. He's got Uncle Grief.
Like, obviously Din Djarin, his dad.
Yep, Daddy Djarin.
Like, yeah, he has a pretty good family.
That he does. I was gonna imagine him like spin himself in that little chair all day. Hey, little buddy, you want to spin in the chair? Huh? You want to spin in the chair?
Whee!
You want some blue cookies from the school? Huh?
Aw. That was so adorable, though.
It was. So we return to Navarro. We have a really cool action sequence.
Like a really cool aerial space battle with the pirates versus the now united Mandalorians.
I love the limitation that the Mandalorians, the big thing with them is that they do not have spaceships. They only have the jetpacks, and they have, they're kind of like weary travelers to a degree. So the only ones who have spaceships, you have Din Djarin, and you got Bo-Katan. So I like that it's kind of limiting the aerial battle. You can only have 2 ships.
Yeah, and Bo-Katan kind of acts like a drop ship almost.
Exactly, yeah.
And the rest of it's kind of like just like aerial. I don't know if guerrilla warfare would be the proper terminology here. But
Probably not.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, well, definitely aerial warfare using like jetpacks and other ships. It's still pretty cool though, regardless.
Yeah, it's like dogfights and stuff going on. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a more accurate term.
So the action's great. We have Vizsla with his giant honking gun as he's like shooting everything, and we have again we have our 2 Mandos with the ships, and then we have the armor in action. Man, oh god, when the armor is in action mode, she's taking around like the big forces taking on the ground support here, and she's like chucking hammers at people and just like she's chucking more hammers than Thor. Man, look at her.
Yeah, the armor can really throw down.
Oh, absolutely. And Miguel Mara, she's essentially the leader of the Mandalorian, so she's gotta, she's earned that title.
I mean, yeah, she's done. You can definitely say she has. I mean, you don't. I mean, those pirates. I mean, there's nothing left after she was done with them.
I like the parallels that we have going on. We have like this giant pirate ship that's looming over the whole town that they're trying to take down. It feels very Miyazaki-esque already. And beyond that, it's like I love the fact that it parallels the the purge on Mandalore, in which we bombed everything when they're shooting at the town, very one sidedly. So it kind of gives an extra oomph to when the Mandalorians take these guys down, because they're playing really dirty. They're playing very imperial.
And now they're turning the tables.
Yeah.
And now they're defending their home.
Yep.
Or they're defending someone else's home, and then it becomes their home. But
yeah, so we have so this is really nice. Grief Karga, gives them the land and everything, welcomes them, and this is, I know we've had our differences, but you guys are welcome. I know you're without a home planet, but you have a home.
Which is very nice. I mean, Mando took up his offer and he extended it to all the lost Mandalorians.
Yeah, it was cool. So then we go to the original covert from the first season, or the original place where the armor had the little forge and everything set up.
Yeah, and the armorer calls Bo-Katan over. There's some pretty big words to say.
This is huge. This is really huge.
And what does she say, Dragon?
Essentially, she says, you've seen the Mandalore. You've seen the great Mandalore.
The Mythosaur.
Mythosaur. Sorry about that. You've seen the great Mythosaur, and basically she's starting to believe that it's not just a vision; it's like a sign. Like you've seen the creature, you've been to the planet, and you can basically bring our cultures together.
It's a sign of a new age.
Sign of the new age, yes.
But she says something even bigger.
Oh, what does she say? Oh, well, I know. You mean Thief tells her to do the thing, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So this is a huge thing, folks. She tells Bo to remove her helmet. Initially, I was like, oh no, Bo, don't do it. It's a trap. Don't do it. She's like, hey, you removed. I was wondering if it was gonna be a power play. I don't want you usurping my power here, man. Take that helmet off. But yes, no, she took it off, saying, "Hey, trust me. Do you have any faith in me?" She takes the helmet off and then just let out there. And I look like this thing you're wearing. Oh, they're not gonna like Paz Vizsla. After all that goodwill, Paz Vizsla's just gonna drop her like a bad habit. And it's like, no. She's walked both sides of the Mandalorian. So she can be the bridge to bring us all back. We're gonna get everyone together, and we're gonna retake the home planet.
And it was such a power move to just walk out, to just have both of them walk out together.
And I mean, just seeing Din's reaction, or I guess technically lack of reaction, because he's just wearing a helmet, but you know what I mean. He has the implied reaction.
His body language.
His body language really implies a part of him is like, really? I mean, I went through all that, and she can just walk out without the helmet on, and things are going to be okay. Really?
I wonder if she'll extend the same generosity towards the Mando.
I gotta wonder. I mean, I have to imagine if it's going to be a thing of if she's allowed to do it, they all should be. But I think for the time being, it's probably just going to be her.
It's probably because Bo-Katan's a special, an exception.
Exactly. I think right now, primarily she's the exception. I think ultimately the armor is building to, you know what, maybe we can look past the helmet thing.
I mean, I sure hope so. I mean, it would be nice. I mean, having it to hide the mask all the time, that can be hard.
True.
Plus, I mean, when are they going to get a helmet small enough for Grogu?
I know that's all. Again, I speculated this. I speculated at a certain point. I think we're gonna break free the helmet thing just for the sake of if we won't have to give Grogu a Mando helmet if we want him to be officially a Mandalorian, give him little armor and stuff.
Yeah. But asking her to take off the helmet was huge.
It was, absolutely. I mean, it's given just everything that Din Djarin went through, and she's like, yeah, she's fine.
I mean, it means a lot considering how their culture has been and how none of them have been allowed to take off their helmet, and being asked by the current leader of the Mandos to take off the helmet.
Admittedly, though, this is somewhat of a concern. Not the helmet removal thing. It was the concern in that, yet again, on the surface, in the writing of this season, like the R4 thing, we're taking left turns rather fast. It's like, hey, three. Okay, we're on episode 5, right?
Yeah, 3 more episodes.
Okay, let's see. So basically, episode 3, we redeemed Din Djarin at the very end of that episode, and it's like he's barely just been reinstated and everything. It's like they've just been redeemed. And then we do, okay, we're going to soften on the helmet thing, and more so just the fact that, hey, in this episode we just got a new home, but then at the very end, like a few seconds later, like, we're going to take back the home planet. It's like, well, that's, we were just given this great offer by Grief Karga, and we're just going home anyway. So I have to wonder how long we're going to stay on Navarro with these guys. Like, how much of a home are they going to build when we're building to them going to Mandalore?
Well, I mean,
I'm hopeful that it's all going to work out nice. I'm just saying that on the surface, I can see the criticism potentially hitting here. Like, wait a minute, what's the point if they're just going to go home?
Like, well, I mean, it's a good temporary place to stay, and they don't have to.
Yeah, it's going to be a nice temporary place, but Grief Karga was given like a permanent, like, you guys are welcome here all the time. We love you guys.
It could be just seems like another colony.
Yeah.
I mean, they can still go back to Mandalore and still have people come to Navarro.
I mean, I like to think you're right, and that's ultimately what they're going to do. So we'll see.
I mean, then again, I might be being optimistic.
Yeah, might be a way too. Just like we want, I wonder if it's going to be an out ultimately. That we want Din Djarin to stick around, and we want the rest of them to go to Mandalore. So perhaps that might be the middle ground of like how we keep Din Djarin just kind of doing this space bounty hunter thing.
Entirely possible.
I mean, we'll see, because it does feel like we got to build towards something with Din Djarin. Also, we have not touched base on if Bo-Katan is still holding the Darksaber or not, because I mean, she used it once, and I believe she gave it back to Din Djarin, but we have not seen it in use since.
Yeah. Well, maybe, but we have, as we mentioned, we have 3 more episodes left, so we'll probably find out sooner or later.
So then we have one big reveal as well at the end of this episode.
Yeah, well, Tiva, while he was like out exploring, comes across a damaged ship.
Yeah, it's a shuttle. It's like one of the old Imperial shuttles from Return of the Jedi.
And as more and more lines come, and it's just like, wait a minute, it's a shuttle. The crew is entirely frozen in space.
It's not good.
The timetable matches the departure of Gideon's ship. And there's a fragment of Beskar.
So that's the big intrigue there. There's many speculations coming from this. So the main thing we learn is that, okay, Moff Gideon has indeed escaped or been sprung. So someone's taken Moff Gideon. Moff Gideon never made the trial. The rumors are true. We found Beskar, and that Beskar implies that it could be, yeah.
And with the not making it to trial thing, at least we can at least determine now that it's not because of New Republic incompetence.
Yeah, I mean, well, it might be incompetence. Well, I don't know. It's the thing of like they're it sounds like they're covering it up. So think of it as kind of.
Well, what I'm saying is it's not like they, as far as we know, it's not like they chose to not put him to. He didn't make it to planet and then not go to trial. That's what I'm saying.
Gotcha.
But go on. Sorry.
So that begs. We have many theories here. So one is that it's a frame up. Basically, it's kind of like we're framing the Mandalorians. Basically, the Empire could be framing the Mandalorians, so we're kind of like ruining the goodwill there, perhaps. Making it look basically Moff Gideon might be faking his death by the Mandalorians, sprung him and then killed them themselves, and then basically make the Mandalorians look bad, but more so cover up his death, and where he's actually going to be planning a comeback.
Only one way to find out. I mean, I wonder if the recurring, what's her name? The one who talked about the.
Oh, Kane. You mean Elliot Kane?
Elliot Kane. Yeah. I wonder if she has anything to do with this.
Oh no, she absolutely has some. She's that's what I'm saying. I think she was planted there by him. Like she was instructed by him once he. Whatever he put into play, I mean, it's entirely possible she orchestrated this escape and is following his orders. Like beyond this point, it's unclear because he was found at some point when everyone was taken in. So here's some other theories. So other Mandos, the unmasked Mandos that were working for Bo-Katan knows, potentially they sought him out and they captured him, looking for the Darksaber.
Well, that's entirely possible. I mean. You have no way of knowing for sure. It's like either there is a frame up or some rogue Mandos.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing too is that even deeper is that just the New Republic potentially Well, no, it'd be too cruel. I don't think they killed their own men, so probably not that theory.
Yeah, well, and they might have done some way to frame the Mandos too.
That's that. Well, it's also true. Yeah, I don't know. It's just there's a lot of stuff that could potentially have happened. But the point being, Moff Gideon has escaped. Something's going on, and it does seem like the New Republic is indeed they are covering up the thing that happened with Moff Gideon. Like how the heck would the New Republic not know what happened with Moff Gideon? It seems like they're covering up the fact that they don't know.
It's like, yeah, something tells me that she knows more than she's letting on.
No, absolutely, yeah. So also, I think the grander spec is that whatever happened there, Gideon is on Mandalore. That's a big theory right now. He's hiding out on Mandalore.
And so there's 3 more episodes to go. So anything big could happen in these next 2 episodes. Like something big will probably happen in especially in chapter 20 in episode 7. I might get my guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, so yeah, that or who knows, something big might happen in the next episode. I mean, considering the cliffhanger of this one and the season's just half over now.
Yep.
And we have yet to see some of the people announced for the season. We haven't seen Christopher Lloyd yet.
Oh yeah, he is supposed to be in this season.
Yeah, so who knows who he's going to be?
No, that's a good question. I'm trying to think right now who we. Yeah, I mean, it's probably gonna be a new character, I'd imagine. I don't think he's gonna be an existing.
I mean, some people are speculating that he might be the live action Hondo.
Well, I mean, it's a way to go, but we have Jim Cummings.
Yeah, I know. So I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure if I believe that one.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, that's just someone speculating and all that. So
True.
But maybe we'll see him. Maybe we won't even see Hondo at all this season.
Well, the big question is if we're going to be introducing another Filoni character in episode 7. So let's keep an eye out for that.
It does seem to be a tradition, at least. Except oddly enough, in this episode.
Yes.
So who do you suppose that will be introduced? I mean, we don't even know the episode title yet.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, again, I think the instant go-to is always Hondo, but again, I think the smartest money is on Hondo appearing in Ahsoka. Beyond that, I mean, the Bad Batch is out there. We have not done anything with the Bad Batch quite yet.
And the season just finished, too.
That's the thing. So it's unclear. I'm trying to think of who else might. Okay, let's see. So
I mean, it
makes
could
sense.
I mean, it could be something else to set up Ahsoka.
That is also true. I mean, a lot of people have been speculating we're going to see Thrawn because Thrawn is tied to the cloning stuff. So if we did touch on Pershing again and we saw who had designed that, so it is possible. I mean, if I'm correct, and again, I have not seen the end of Rebels, but from what I hear, it sounds like Thrawn and Ezra got lost in some kind of event, like a vortex of some kind, or something happens to them, and they get. We're looking for them because of that reason. So that makes me think everyone's speculating we're going to see Thrawn. We're going to see Thrawn. I have a feeling that based on what I've heard about Rebels, which again I've not seen, we're not going to have an established Thrawn, but there's a question of who is pulling these cloning strings. So it would make sense if somehow Thrawn is out and he's doing stuff. So Thrawn would be the big. If we're going to do a big setup episode for Ahsoka, like full on, well, we kind of have that with Pershing. It seems like either Pershing at a minimum or maximum, we're getting Thrawn.
I mean, I would love to see Thrawn again.
Yeah.
I mean, I've actually read the first book of the Thrawn trilogy, and I know he's quite different than. I know he's apparently a bit different in Rebels and everything, considering Heir to the Empire takes place after the original trilogy, and obviously Rebels takes place at the beginning. Or before the original trilogy. So then it's but either way, Thrawn is would be an interesting character to see, but either way, I mean, it would be also interesting to see if we got more Rebels characters in this.
Yep.
All right.
Okay.
I think that you have anything else to say then?
I mean, again, this episode's really, yet again, it's kind of it's a big world building episode that has like some very key events in it. So it has a very, we set up the big thing with the kind of our potential future for the Mandalorians and being able to remove their helmets with Bo-Katan as soon as she, mends the culture. So I think ultimately we're gonna spend an episode. I've been wrong before, mind you, based on all the left turns of this season. So I wonder if we're going to spend like an episode on Navarro as we gather everything. Because the way 7 and 8 usually works is like we set up. It's like part 1 of the big finale, and 7, then 8 is like the finale. So I'm going to imagine like we're getting the band together with Bo-Katan in 6. 7 will be the we're returning to Mandalore, and then oh shock, let's say for example, whatever we're doing with Moff Gideon is revealed, or he is on the planet. And then the other half is like the taking of Mandalore, and we're going to see where it all ends. That's my broad speculation.
And maybe we'll see how Gideon is using these pirates.
Yeah.
And also see if a certain pirate appears in the mix.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Could it be Christopher Lloyd? Could it be Jim Cummings? Who knows?
I mean, and I kind of just say like one of the pirates in this episode kind of looked like one of the characters in Infinity War, like Ebony Maw, I think his name was.
Oh yeah, I know you're talking about. So the main. No, I'm with you, Jacob. That main pirate guy. I'm blanking on his name right now because we set him up in that other episode. But yeah, he does look a lot like Ebony Maw.
It's like I'm glad I'm not the only one. I was like when I was watching, it's like kind of I could swear I've.
No, I knew exactly who it reminded me of. It's kind of like, yeah.
Like when I first watched it, though, I was like, wait, why does that look familiar?
Yeah.
And it turned out it's like, wait a second, that looks like Ebony Maw.
Earth is closed, Squidward.
It's like, and get lost, Squidward. Oh God. So, I've actually seen YouTube edits of people actually putting Squidward's voice over Ebony Maw.
I love the idea that Tony Stark watches SpongeBob before he had a kid. Love it.
Yeah. Or at least
yeah.
Oh, go on.
You have to imagine, I'd like to think Tony Stark watched OG SpongeBob, like the original seasons.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep.
Like, I mean, he has a life, so why shouldn't he?
No, for sure. I'm just saying, like Tony Stark. I mean, he's doing all sorts of gallivanting, like the billionaire, trillionaire, playboy kind of stuff.
Being a genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist.
That's what I'm saying. He's doing that. Like I imagine, like probably the Iron Man 1 era is like when he's watching like SpongeBob just to do eccentric things. Like I'm not gonna go out. I'm just gonna watch SpongeBob. Hey Pepper, you want to watch SpongeBob? It's the Shanghai episode. Mr. Slash hanging. It's the night shift episode.
The hash slinging Slash. Like Mr. Stark, don't you have better things to do?
No, I'm rich. I have literally nothing to do right now.
All right. Now that we've got to talking about Iron Man watching SpongeBob, I think it's time to close off.
You're right. So, Jacob, I want you to thank the folks in the comments.
And thank you, Atomic Beast and Coxkey Productions, for your insightful comments or either that or continuing the references to our jokes. So, thank you all for watching, and thanks to all of you tuning in afterwards.
That'll do it for us this week as we holster our remotes till the next installment calls for the draw, mano a mano, just Plus&Us.
Hondo, where is Hondo?
I'm still not in the episode. This show stinks.
I'm feeling very left out here.
I want to hold the baby.